Do you want to speak English naturally?
Welcome back to the English Podcast. I'm really excited about today's topic because it's something that touches almost everyone's life. We're going to talk about how to focus on yourself. And with me today is Lena, who's passionate about personal growth, mindfulness, and creating healthy habits. Hi, Lena. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Omar. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here because this topic is so important and yet so often misunderstood. Many people think focusing on yourself is selfish, but in reality, it's the opposite.
That's interesting. Let's start right there. When we say focus on yourself, what exactly do we mean?
To me, focusing on yourself means creating balance. It's not about ignoring people or shutting everyone out. It's about remembering that your needs, your goals, and your mental health matter too. It's like taking care of your own battery. If your energy is always at 1%, you can't give your best to work, family, or friends. But when you recharge, you can show up in every area of life more positively.
I like that analogy. But let me ask, why do you think so many people struggle to focus on themselves?
There are several reasons. First, social media plays a huge role. It constantly shows us other people's lives, which makes us compare ourselves all the time. Second, our culture often glorifies busyness. If you're exhausted, people say, "Wow, you must be working hard," like it's an achievement. And finally, many people are afraid to say no. They don't want to disappoint anyone, so they say yes to everything and leave no time for themselves.
That's so true. I think most of us can relate to at least one of those. But let's get practical. If someone listening right now wants to start focusing more on themselves, what steps can they take?
I usually break it down into 5 main pillars. First is self-awareness. You need to pause and reflect on what you really need in life. Second is boundaries, learning to say no without guilt. Third is mindfulness, which means being present instead of living in the past or worrying about the future. Fourth is building healthy routines, good sleep, nutrition, and exercise. And 5 is setting personal goals that align with your own values, not just what society expects.
That sounds like a solid framework. Could you give us a real example of how that might look?
Of course. Imagine someone who works long hours, comes home exhausted, and spends the rest of the night scrolling through their phone. They wake up tired every morning. A simple first step would be creating a boundary. I will turn off my phone at 10 p.m. That one action protects their rest. With better sleep, they have more energy and focus for everything else.
That makes sense. You also mentioned mindfulness earlier, which I think intimidates a lot of people. Some imagine it as sitting cross-legged for hours trying to clear your mind. Is that what mindfulness really is?
Not at all. Mindfulness is simply paying attention to the present moment without judgment. If you're eating, just eat. Notice the flavors, the smell, the texture. If you're walking, feel the ground under your feet. Notice the air on your skin. It doesn't mean your mind will be empty. Thoughts will come, but you observe them instead of chasing them. I like to say, imagine your thoughts are cars driving on a road. You don't need to run after every car. Just watch them pass.
I love that image. So it's more about awareness than silence.
Exactly. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. Even 5 minutes a day can make a difference.
Now, I want to go back to something you said earlier, social media. How does that affect our ability to focus on ourselves?
Social media is tricky. It connects us, which is great, but it also distracts us. The biggest danger is comparison. You see other people's highlight reels and forget that your own journey is valuable. To truly focus on yourself, sometimes you need a digital detox.
Do you do that yourself?
Yes, once a week I take a full day away from social media. At first I felt restless, like I was missing out, but now I love it. It gives me space to think, read, and sometimes even get bored. And boredom can be healthy because it pushes your mind to be creative.
That's inspiring. Now, let's talk about boundaries because I think a lot of people listening struggle with that. Saying no feels uncomfortable. How can someone start building healthy boundaries without feeling guilty?
It helps to reframe it. When you say no to something that drains your energy, you're actually saying yes to your health and to the things that matter most. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors. They let the right things in and keep the wrong things out. People who respect you will understand, and those who don't, well, maybe they're not as supportive as you thought.
So, in a way, boundaries reveal who truly respects you.
Exactly. And once you start practicing, it becomes easier.
Now, let's move to personal goals. How does focusing on yourself help you achieve them?
When you stop living for other people's expectations, you finally ask yourself, what do I want? Maybe you want to learn a language, write a book, start a small business, or spend more time with family. By focusing on yourself, you align your daily actions with those goals. It's like decluttering your life.
Decluttering. I like that comparison. Just as you clean your room to make space for what matters, you can clean your schedule and your mind.
Exactly.
Do you have a real story about someone who benefited from focusing on themselves?
Yes, actually, I have a friend who was always stressed because she said yes to everything. Extra projects at work, favors for friends, family obligations. She was burning out. Finally, she started a simple habit. Every morning, she took 20 minutes for herself. She journaled, drank coffee, and stayed off her phone. Over time, her stress levels dropped, her mood improved, and she even performed better at work. Eventually, she was promoted because she was showing up with more clarity and energy.
That's powerful. Sometimes the smallest steps bring the biggest changes.
Absolutely.
So, if someone listening today feels overwhelmed, what's the very first step they should take tonight to focus on themselves?
I'd say start small. Before you go to bed, write down 3 things you can do tomorrow just for you. It could be reading for 10 minutes, going for a short walk, or cooking your favorite meal. The size doesn't matter. What matters is consistency. When you do small acts of self-care daily, they build up into big changes.
That's such a helpful tip.
And also, don't wait for a perfect moment. People say, I'll focus on myself once I finish this project or when life calms down. But life never truly calms down. You have to decide that you deserve attention now.
That's a great reminder. Lena, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Omar. It was such a pleasure.
To our listeners, remember, focusing on yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. It helps you recharge, grow, and show up better for the people you love. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share it with a friend, and take at least one small step today to give yourself the attention you deserve. Until next time, stay mindful and stay kind to yourself.